Month, our theme, our self-care series theme is refilling your cup, and it sort of goes hand in hand with retreat. I'm just saying, I don't know. But specifically this week, I want to talk about how we can't continue to pour from our cup if it is empty. We've heard this saying 1,000 times. We talk about it. The plane. Put your face mask on before somebody else's. And time again, I hear my clients say, "I know I should, but," and you know how I feel about shouldn't all over yourself. So let's don't should all over ourselves. But so many times, because we don't take care of ourselves, whether it's whatever that is for you, it tends to wear on us to the point of burnout, to frustration, to exhaustion, to overload. And a lot of us are there, and we know that we're there. We just don't know how to help ourselves. So I hope this month these short self-care series will sort of give you an idea, some things that you can do to help you refill your cup. And the first step to doing that is trying to figure out your signs of your cup being empty, right? What is it in your life that you notice that happens when you've had enough, right? So if you're here and you're if you will, in the comments, put in the comments what you think comes up for you. What do you notice when you realize my cup is empty and I gotta have some rest? I've got to refill this cup. Mine is I get real snappy. Not me. I get real snappy very quickly. It's that one is snappy, and the second thing I do is I'm an emotional eater, so I eat. So those two things are the first two things that happen to me when I know that I recognize when I'm tired, when I'm stressed, when I'm overwhelmed, when I need to take some time for me. Teresa says I have a short temper. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Hi, Nancy. Good to see you. So, what things happen for you? So that's the first step of trying to figure out, okay, I'm getting snappy, or I'm, emotional eating, or I am disconnected, or whatever. So for me, they all interconnect. So I hate to really put them into categories, but I sort of lump them into four different kinds of signs, right? Emotional, physical, mental, and energetic. So I've already mentioned the emotional ones, right? Getting a little snappy, more irritable, impatient. Maybe you're a little more sensitive. I know I can get that way too. Like I make everything personal, even though I know it's not personal because I'm rolling on zero here. I'm getting a little bit extra sensitive. The physical signs are, you're feeling that tension. Maybe you're having tension headaches. You're extra tired. You're dragging throughout the day. I know that when I'm super duper I am on zero, all I want to do is sleep. And that's when that's when my depression starts sort of coming up because I have a history of that. So I have to be very aware of sleep, especially during the day. Some mental signs are brain fog, lack of motivation, and just overall feeling meh about everything, really not caring, right? And I've seen some of I'm not so much all of these, definitely not some of them, but it could be more, I'm an emotional person. I'm as an empath, that's one of the things that I get. That's my first, sort of sign there. So we've got emotional signs, physical signs, mental signs, and energetic signs. And what is that? So your energy just feels off. You're not feeling aligned with what you usually feel aligned with. Maybe you cannot concentrate, which goes back up to mental, during meditation. Maybe you are not taking your time to do the yoga practice or do the journaling practice. Maybe you feel like, if you're one of those, if you're somebody who knows about the chakras, maybe you feel like your chakras are not in balance and you need some kind of energetic alignment. So, those are sort of areas, and everybody's different. Everybody's different, and not all of these affect everybody by any means. But, these are little things that can grow into big things if we don't acknowledge when our cup is not full, right? One thing you can do, and I love is do a joy check-in. A joy check-in. Meaning, if you're feeling a little off or you're feeling a little salty and, snappy, or whatever your personal signs are of feeling depleted, ask yourself, when was the last time you laughed? When was the last time you did something fun? I love music. I love singing. Not great at it, but I love doing it. Get in the car and turn off the music and sing. When was the last time you got in your car and sang? Those little pieces, those little glimmers of joy, when was the last time? I'll never forget one of my a therapist of mine years ago asked me, what do you do for fun? And I think I've shared this before on here, I think. And I started naming off all the stuff I do with work. And she's like, no. What do you do for fun? I'm like, well, I have fun with, my students. And they're like, no. What do you do for fun? And as a recovering people pleaser now, but a people pleaser back then, I was like, oh, well, and it really stressed me out because I really didn't have an answer for what things I had done for fun. Teresa said, you actually made me laugh today for the first time. I'm like, oh, thank you. I'm good. Glad to hear that. So yeah, what are your joys? Maybe it's taking 5 to sit outside. Maybe it is a nice healthy meal. Maybe it is calling a friend. I've said this before. I have a diverse group of friends who all of my friends are in my life for different reasons in different areas of my life also, and I'm sure yours are too. And for me, I have that friend who, is ride or die. Like, I call them, like, I'm ready to fight with you, right? I have the friend that is always the cup's half full. I have the friend, so all these different things. So, right. So have you called that friend that's your cheerleader friend? Have you called that friend that's the cup is half full friend, right? Maybe you do a check-in with them and get that. Those friends that really, like, when you're off the phone with them, you're like, oh, that was just a breath of fresh air. That was just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So this week, start going through, and if your body and mind starts signaling, I'm not feeling 100%, then maybe stop, ask yourself, do a little joy check-in, and then say, hey, you know what? Maybe I need to take a minute to whatever it is for you that could feel that joy. Okay. So what I'd like to do right now is just a couple of minutes. You know how I am about just the 2-minute rule, right? Journaling, all you need is 2 minutes. Grounding, all you need is 2 minutes. And so let's do a 2-minute little breathing and check-in exercise. So if you are where you can, close your eyes, and obviously not driving or, that kind of thing. So let's just close our eyes. And take a deep inhale in through the nose and exhale out the mouth. And with your next inhale, I want you, when you inhale, I want you to raise your shoulders toward your ears. So inhale, raise those shoulders toward the ears. And when you exhale, release those shoulders down. And let's breathe in one more time, leaving our shoulders where they are. Inhale and exhale. And I want you to ask yourself, as you're sitting here quietly, taking this time for yourself, I want you to do a quick check-in by asking yourself, how am I really doing right now? How am I really doing right now? And the next question is, what is one small thing that I can do today to give myself a refill? A little spark of joy, a little happiness. One small thing. It does not have to be huge, and it does not have to cost money. And whatever comes to you, welcome it. Don't judge it. And taking another deep breath in through the nose. And exhale. And when you're ready, open your eyes. That's a little check-in. When things are getting a little crazy, when things are getting a little rough, when things are feeling a little wonky, just take a minute. Take a couple of deep breaths in and ask yourself, how am I really doing right now? And then what is one small thing I can do to give myself some joy? So, a little recap. Notice in yourself the emotional, physical, mental, or energetic signs of feeling depleted. And what are those for you? Catch them if you can. Breathe through them if you need to. Choose to do something small for yourself to increase the joy and decrease the depletion. Basically, refilling you, refilling yourself. Because sometimes the signs are there. It's just a matter of catching them. And as mentioned before, as we first started, if you want to deep dive into this, retreat is an awesome weekend to do that, to stop, to rest, and to refill your cup, to refill you energetically, physically, emotionally. You deserve that. You deserve that. I did pull 2 cards. Y'all know I love my cards. The first one is my little angel card with one word on it, and it is honesty. And immediately when this popped out, it was be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Are you really feeling burned out? Are you really needing to refill? And if you are, what does that look like for you? I know so many times we put everybody else first. And you can continue to do that, but at least put yourself on the list. Top 5. I would love to see you being number 1. But I also understand as women, we put kids and grandkids and everybody else. At least put yourself on the list. The second card I got, and I know that's little, it's hard to read. It says breathe, and let me read the bottom of it. And I love this because it coordinates with the 2-minute little breathing exercise that we did. It says it's easy for me to return to the present moment simply by breathing, which is exactly what we did. If I'm feeling anxious or worried, I close my eyes and breathe in deeply as I picture myself filling up with white light. Then exhale and envision stress and tension leaving my body. In this moment, I am free to gently stretch and open my eyes, feeling refreshed, which is practically what we just did there, right? So, taking just a couple of minutes to close our eyes and breathe. All right, everybody. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend and rest of your week. Like I said, if you have any questions about retreat or if you have any questions about Thursday night group Embracing Me, we are talking about this all month long in Thursday night group. And feel free to join us over there as well, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time on Thursday nights. All right, everybody. Hope you have a great day.